Yes, Rabbi say welcome to our Monday night shiur. Asara Tevet. Today, well, technically today is the 10th of Tevet, even though the fast starts in the morning. But right now, really, is the 10th of Tevet. Before we start, our shiur is L'Refuah Shlema of Rena Bat Esther. And also, our shiur is Le'elu Nishmat Shulami Bat Yafa and Liel Dira Bat Ephraim. And also, our shiur is L'Hatzlachat, the Shimano family, for being constant donators to the shiur. Kizeh Ra'eh Kodesh. Israel ben Leah, Michal bat Hana, Yosef Chaim, Abigail Tamar, Elisha bat Hana, Sarivka, Bnei Michal. Hashem to send the family a lot of blessing, bracha, v'hatzlacha, yeshuot gedolot. May they only know good things in their life. Amen. Okay. Put this away here. Tonight is the 10th of Tevet. So a couple of words, we can't begin without starting something about the actual Inyanei Deyoma. There's a famous Khatam Sofer. The Khatam Sofer says that just like on Rosh Hashanah, everything is decided. What's decided on Rosh Hashanah? How much money you're going to make. Chas v'shalom, a person's going to be sick. Person's going to have Refuah Shlema. All these things are decided on Rosh Hashanah. So too, there is a Rosh Hashanah of the Chorban Beit HaMikdash. Every single year, on one day of the year, Hashem decides, will there be a Chorban Beit HaMikdash this year? Wow. What do you mean, what's the Chorban Beit HaMikdash? Where do we see there's a Chorban Beit HaMikdash?
Not being built.
First of all, the Gemara says, is as bad or even worse to Klal Yisrael the death of young Jews more than the Chorban Beit HaMikdash. Kashe silukan shel bachurim, young Jews, more than the Chorban Beit HaMikdash. We all heard what happened on Motzei Shabbat, the tragic accident that took the life, hopefully the only life at this point, of a young Jewish girl that was driving back from, coming back I think from a reunion, a camp reunion. It was in Woodmere in 5 towns. She was driving back, and she was actually a guest. I mean, the mother that was driving her, she was doing a mitzvah. She was taking her and 2 other, she was chaperoning them. Her daughter was also in the car. It was 3 girls and the mom, I believe, or 4 girls. 3 in the back. So 4 girls. The daughter, 3 friends, and the mom. And I don't know what happened exactly, but a drunk driver slammed straight into them. The girl, lo aleinu, passed away almost instantly. And the mom is fighting for her life right now. She's in very serious critical condition. And Hashem send her a speedy refuah shlema.
Amen.
And the 3 other girls, I think they're in stable but still very tough condition. And the crazy thing is that the drunk driver, nothing happened to him. Wow. Came out with not even a scratch. And of course he was arrested, and thanks to our great democratic lawmakers, he's out on one of the catch and release. Bail and release. And so Makadosh Baruch Hu Yinkom nikmat dam avadav hashapuch. So kashe silukan, it's harder for Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the death of young Jewish people, more than the Chorban Beit HaMikdash. So that's already a Chorban Beit HaMikdash. It's happening right before Asara B'Tevet. So, but still, the Khatam Sofer says there's a Chorban that happens every single year. What's the Chorban that's happening every single year? And it's really whoever does Tikkun Chatzot, which is the lamentation at midnight, which right now midnight is 11:50. Almost everybody could do it. Of course, the Satan gets you right at 11:30. Oh. You're there at 11:30, and if it was you were in Vegas right now, lo aleinu. But if you were over there, you would be up till 5 in the morning. Forget, you would be up for 2 days in a row
without struggling even.
But when you're there to do a mitzvah, then tardema v'chashecha gedola nofelet alav, and suddenly deep slumber falls upon him, and there's a darkness of Abraham Avinu. So And when we do Tikkun Chatzot, it says in the bottom over there of the Tikkun Chatzot, it says over there in one of the paragraphs, Oy li al galut ha-Shekhinah, woe to me and the galut of the Shekhinah. Woe to me and the harigat ha-tzadikim. Woe to me and the death of tzadikim. What do you mean? Tzaddik is 90 years old and he dies. What's the problem? Why do I have to cry if a 90-year-old tzaddik passes away? His time came and he left. And we see that the answer is, from this week's parasha with Yaakov Avinu, tzaddikim are never supposed to die. They so fix their sin, the sin of Adam HaRishon, that death does not have anything to do with them. It's just not connected to them. If it's not for the sin of Adam HaRishon, the Nachash went inside every single one of us, they would have lived forever. So the fact is, since we didn't do our part to fix the Chet of Adam HaRishon, so therefore they still have to die to separate that Tum'ah, that Zohama inside of them. Even when Mashiach comes, speedily in our days, Amen.
Amen.
The real Mashiach, when he will come, after he comes, there's a machloket. The Zohar says 40 years after is Tchiyat HaMetim. Another Zohar says 200 years is Tchiyat HaMetim. Another Zohar says 213 years after is Tchiyat HaMetim. How do you reconcile all the Zohars? So the Leshem Sholach Lama, Rabbi Shlomo Eliashuv, one of the great, the Chafetz Chaim, in his old age, traveled all the way from Radin to his place in Russia, Soviet Union, just to meet him, to get a bracha from him, to speak to him. Chafetz Chaim, the Gedol Hador. He was Rav Eliashuv's grandfather, the Rav Eliashuv of our days. So his name was Shlomo Eliashuv. He writes over there, very simple. He was a very big Chacham and Mikubal and Tzaddik. He writes that all three opinions are correct. What happens is there's going to be many Tchiyat HaMetims. There's not going to be one Tchiyat HaMetim. The first Tchiyat HaMetim for the big Tzaddikim is going to be in the beginning, 40 years. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aharon, Yosef, David, all the big ones, right? They're going to wake up first. And then gradually, till the end of 213 years, we're going to get till the last Tchiyat HaMetim. But the crazy thing is, what about all of us? Hopefully all of us are going to be alive to actually witness the coming of Mashiach. Says the Leshem Sholach Lama, at the moment of Tchiyat HaMetim, everybody's going to drop dead and wake right back up. We all have to drop dead at that moment. Why is that? Because this body can't go into the sixth millennium. We need a new body to go into the sixth millennium. That's the body that you're going to get when you go after 120 to Gan Eden, but this time you're going to get it down here in Asiyah. Why? What we're doing right now, we're elevating, but it's like you're going into an elevator with closed windows. The Ramchal says, for example, we're working all week during the week, 6 days a week. We're working in the worlds of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. Very deep, tough worlds. You have to work, right? Hashem says you gotta work. You gotta work, you gotta farm, you gotta plant, you gotta go make money. 7-day Shabbat comes. Now, if you knew a little bit of Ari Kadosh, the Kavanot, the speed of light that you jump from tefillah to tefillah, it's like you're going up 100 floors. Every tefillah you're jumping 100 floors, 100 floors, 100 floors. So how come you don't see it? The Ari says, the Ramchal brings this down, it's like you're going into an elevator without windows. So you don't really see the elevation, but you could feel the elevator going up. Every tefillah of Shabbat is greater and greater and greater, and then it's such a big jump that we need a besamim after Shabbat to let that neshama out. Without that besamim, it's the tzar to the neshama. Now, what if you don't feel it? You have to get yourself used to feeling it. But the point is, when a person works on himself so much, then the body, the goof, gets purified. You understand? But even that purification needs to drop dead in Tchiyat HaMetim and wake right back up. He needs to go through a case. Now, there are some people, says Daniel, the famous quasi-prophet, let's call him, one of the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah. Daniel says, everybody's going to wake up. What does that mean, everyone's going to wake up? That means Nebuchadnezzar is going to wake up. Titus is going to wake up. All the Rishaim, all the Mechalale Shabbatot, Yemim Tovim, Boale Goyot, Venidot, Zebras, and Klavim, and this, they're all going to wake up.
For what purpose?
Shimichan. What are they going to wake up for? To see at the end of the day that there is a schar for tzaddikim, And there is an onesh to the Rishaim. Then they're going to go lechirafon, lediraon, olam. Now, what happens? This is Tchat HaMetim. However, let's say a person passes away. He passes away. This is a medrash. The medrash says a person passes away. Avraham Avinu, like he has nothing better to do, but the medrash says he's standing on the gateway of Gehenna. He's standing on the gateway and he's watching. You guys got the Brit? You guys have the Brit? Yes, Papa John. Now, our great Prime Minister Naftali Bennett was in the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Nice place to visit, by the way. It's safer than Harlem, I hear. So he was in the United Arab Emirates, our cousins. Abraham Accords, all that stuff. So he was over there and he gets up, he makes a speech. We are the great-grandchildren of Abraham. Mazal tov. So Abraham Avinu actually sits in the gate of Gehenna, says the Melech, and he says, let me check the Brit. What do you mean? I had the best mohel, he did mitzitza bapeh, he did kavanot shmavanot. I gotta check if the Brit's still over there. If he sees you have a Brit, he doesn't let you go inside Gehenna. He says, I'm the Rebbe, and you're the Chassid. You're coming with me. You're one of me. Don't worry. You have a VIP pass. But if Chas v'Shalom you don't have a Brit, and many people are going to be surprised that they do not have a Brit, then he says, listen, I don't know who you are. What do you mean? Naftali Bennett said we're all the great-grandchildren of Abraham. No, I don't care. You're Naftali Bennett's chassid. You're not my chassid. Where is he? He's in the 7th level. No, I'm kidding. I don't know where he is. You're not allowed to curse a king, by the way. And a prime minister has the status of a king. So, my apologies, Naftali, if you're watching this. Whatever the case is, a person has a Brit. Avraham Avinu takes him out of the Gehenna, right? But how can a person have a Brit and not have a Brit? Chas v'Shalom, if a mohel comes and gives the kid a Brit, and in the middle of the Brit comes to him a hiruhura. What's the point? What's the problem of the kid? A mohel has to know he has avodat Kodesh in his hands. He's actually bringing a korban. He's doing a ketor right in front of the Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's the greatest mitzvah. Brit Milah is the one thing every single Jew does with so much passion and love and amazingness and kavanot. And they go to the mikveh and so. I always say, if a person doesn't go to the mikveh b'Yom Kippur, when he's going to go to the mikveh? Before he's going to be a Sunday. So, those guys, they don't believe in Shabbat, nothing. They don't believe in nothing. But when he's going to become a sandak for his grandson, I know people that during Corona time, remember Corona, all the mikvahs were closed. By the way, in Williamsburg, they were all open. I was killing myself to find a mikvah over here because they were closed. I remember, Rav Shalom, Rabbi Walken passed away. They all said it was Corona. I said it was I don't know what it was. So early morning, I couldn't take this anymore. I was like 2 months without a mikvah. So I said, I'm going to the mikvah on Shabbat because I knew there was a certain time he opened it on Shabbat. I go to the mikveh, it was early in the morning, and one guy comes like he's coming out of the smoke gas attack with like those, those gas masks, the ones that they have for the chemical bio attacks. And I get scared, like it's early in the morning. This guy's coming towards me with a gas mask. And he tells me, Rabbi Wolken, he passed away from the COVID. I'm like, okay, what do you want from me? And you're going to the mikveh, you're making everybody sakana. He made me feel so bad I didn't go inside. He really got me. The guy is like yelling at me over there as if I'm going to kill somebody right now. Anyways, I left home. A couple of weeks later, I go to Williamsburg to buy a couple of mezuzot. So as a joke, I tell the sofer over there, I'm like, how do you guys write this? So sofer should go to the mikveh before. It's not a chiyuv, but it's almost a chiyuv. So he tells me, what, our mikvahs were always open. I'm like, what? He said, what? It doesn't say over there, it says pools have to be closed. These aren't pools, these are ritual baths. They were open the whole time. I'm like, what, are you kidding me over here? Over there, every single one over here. But, listen, it's levels of Avodat Hashem. They had that emunah to keep it open, right? What, anything changed from then until now? Just one thing changed, panic. The panic is gone. Once the panic is gone, what, 4th wave, 5th wave, 6th wave, 7th wave, it's never going to stop these waves. Did the flu ever end? The flu's still here. Since 1918, it's still here. Do you care about it? No, because there's no panic. Same thing with this. This will never end. It will never end. I'm not a Navi, but it will never end. But the panic is gone. The panic is gone, nothing's going to happen to you. It's a famous Ben Ish Chai, right? The Satan comes to kill 5,000. At the end, he comes out with 15,000. What happened, the rabbi says? You said 5. Yeah, they killed themselves. I didn't do anything. They did it to themselves. Anyways, back to what we were saying before. How does a person break his brit? How? So Rabbi Yehuda gives an amazing chidush, and we're going to Shavavim right now. I'm going to give you a big kav zechut, and I'm going to give you also something that's going to be a bit scary, not crazy scary because you're still alive and you could still fix. You understand? It's not that hard to fix in our generation. The Ari told Rav Chaim Vital, one small thing you do this generation was worth thousands of mitzvot time of Tanaim. So first of all, the Rabbi Yehuda, listen to what I'm saying. Rabbi Yehuda says in his Perush, Bet Lechem Yehuda, the Etz Chaim, that a person is not considered Pogem Habrit to the point where Avraham Avinu doesn't recognize if he just does Chas v'Shalom by himself, saying it in a nice way. When is he considered Pogem Habrit? To the point where Avraham Avinu doesn't recognize his Brit, only when he actively puts it in a place that it's not supposed to be. So that means all the youth that are going crazy that I think, yes, it's a big tikkun. What?
Lenient.
Huh?
That sounds very lenient.
What did you think? That Hashem is going to close the doors on all of us? Now, what's the secret? Why does the Zohar then say that a person is pogem, his brit, the regular way? He has to do tshuva ila'ah. Why? I'll tell you why. The answer is because you did Chilul Shabbat. You said, Hashem, I'm sorry. Yisurim come to you. You get the flu or something. You have to get the vaccine mandate. You can't get to work. You get fired. It's Yisurim, no? Yom Kippur comes. You did Teshuvah, yeah? You're good. Every Avera works like that. Teshuvah, I'm sorry. Chatati, Aviti, Pashati, I regret. Next thing, Yisurim. Suffering, a bit suffering. What? You enjoyed, you weren't supposed to enjoy, now you have to get a small shateh. Right? And Yom Kippur, you need 3 ingredients. But that Avera, right, needs a 4th ingredient.
Yeah.
What is it? It's very easy, but unfortunately we skip it. Why? V'tardema gedola nofelet alav. The slumber, kriyat shema alamita. That means, if a person takes upon himself every day of his life to say Shema before he goes to bed, by the time he's getting, and obviously he doesn't do the Avera anymore, that goes without saying, right? That goes without saying, then obviously when time passes away, matok midvash. But if Chas v'Shalom, he did the Changas, then in that case, then he needs another teshuvah. But the crazy thing is like this. What takes you a long time, Ba'olamot ha'elyonim? Over here you could do it like this. Yom Kippur. Even now, what, you need Yom Kippur? Do you know, I was reading in the book of the Shla, Rabbeinu Yeshaya Halevi Horowitz. He said that every 10th day of the month has the power like Yom Kippur. Amazing! Today I was just learning this Hidush. Today, right now, every 10th day of the month has the power of Yom Kippur. A little bit. Yeah.
Why 10th?
Oh my! What do you mean? Why the 10th? Come on, you're messing with me over here. You're messing with me over here.
Because you have 10
Who's
toes.
the 10th sphere? You're here way too long.
You have 10 toes.
You're here way too long.
Yom Kippur's
on the 10th day of the month.
Well, that too.
Of course, Yom Kippur, the 10th. This is the 10th. Every 10th has the power of the 10th.
Wow.
In a sense, so every 10th, forget about that. Erev Rosh Chodesh, Erev Shabbat. Do you know, I'm going to tell you something in the name of a tzaddik nistar. Rav Binyamin Ze'ev Cheshin. He writes like this. I saw this with my own eyes. He writes like this. He was a Breslover. Not the ones that would jump and, Maktir Ketoret, and he's going into Ramallah. 4 Breslov guys, they went into Ramallah like a week ago. You know where Ramallah is?
Ramallah?
Ramallah.
Exactly.
Ramallah.
Not Ramallah.
Better? Ramallah.
City guys?
I'm talking about those
Breslov.
nanachers. They go inside. Now, tell me you're going inside a bit incognito. Full blast on their car. Nachman Meuman. Music, I don't know, I think the music was blasting too. These guys left over there with the skin on their teeth. With the skin. They almost got lynched to death. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about, a real Breslover, he wakes up in nets. He prays, he does hitbodedut at least an hour a day. He learns all the halachot. You ever see what the Rabbeinu Nachman writes in actual Likutei Moharan? I learned this sefer. I think I learned this sefer when I was in my youth. It helped me a lot. Do you know how machmir he is in halachot? If Rav Nachman were here today, that person is walking around maktir ketoret all day and he's dancing on the cars. I'm not sure that's what he was doing. I could be wrong. I'm not a Breslover. But anyways, Rav Binyamin Zev Cheshin says like this. A person Erev Shabbos goes to the mikveh on Erev Shabbos, and before he goes, he does vidui. It's such an et ratzon, he has the ability to wipe off all of his averot of that week.
Wow. Just a regular vidui?
Vidui, but...
No.
Wait a second. Not the vidui, Motzei Shabbos, we're going back to the club. That's not the vidui I'm talking about. Vidui I'm talking about for real.
Is that the second one from Shachari?
Yeah, your own person. Yeah,
from the heart?
Yeah. Huh?
Can it be like from the heart?
Yeah, you could say something. I said, or let's say you know an avera that you did specifically. What's the biggest avera that we constantly do? I'll tell you. They're not. Everybody here is tzaddikim, but they tzaddikim. No, whoever's watching for sure, he's probably chasidim, kedoshim, tehorim. But what's the biggest avera that we do? What do we do already? One, hirhurim araim. Hirhurim.
Kabbalist.
What do you want, Mekubal over here? You're giving me two Torah. What do you want, Mekubal? Yeah, over here. Hirhurim Ra'im is a tough one. Talking in shul unnecessarily. Lashon Hara. Who here speaks Lashon Hara? Get out of here. Who's speaking? We're all tzaddikim. I'm not even going to count that. I'm not even going to count Lashon Hara. Who here speaks Lashon Hara? And a tough one is Kibud Avaim. Respecting one's parents. The Gemara says almost nobody could master this mitzvah. It's a tough because you're not talui on Hashem. If it was up to Hashem, bedil v'ya'avor. Your parents, to do for them kibud avim. My grandparents from Russia, from this, from that, from the old country, they used to pick me up and do this to me and that to me and this to me. How are you gonna respect your parents? It's tough. Do you know, according to halakha, if your parents get old, you have to take care of them like you're one of their own. Who does these things today? Nursing home, schmursing home, this, that. The wife. The wife. What's the wife gonna say? Chas v'shalom. But what can Shalom Bay? Shalom Bay took the cream of the crop, right? Shalom Bay. Chas v'shalom. That's the problem. That's the generation. What can you do?
Wives weren't like that.
But why wasn't like that before?
No, wives weren't like that.
Don't say that. No, my point is that Kibud Avayim is hard to do. I'll tell you even more than that. I was learning the Nevi'im. I try to do a chapter a day. Sometimes two if I really like the Navi. I like all the Nevi'im, but like the last Nevi'im, Chagai, Zachariah, and Malachi are my favorite. So I was learning Zachariah, and it says over there in the Navi Zachariah, one day Hashem will take away the walls of Jerusalem. No walls. Yerushalayim is going to be perazot. You know what perazot is? Open. It's going to stretch for miles, Yerushalayim. And it says over there, when will that be? On that day. Go figure, that day. That's
Gabriel said it, right?
He's usually speaking to Gabriel. He's usually speaking to Amalach. Daniel openly speaks to Gabriel. Daniel, he says, V'ha'ish Gabriel, he says that. But Zechariah doesn't say he's speaking to Gabriel. Alright? He's just saying, I'm speaking to the Malach. Now, look at Rashi on the Pasuk. Rashi says, when will that day be? Scary thing. I was going to put it on my status, but then I said, who's going to understand it? It says over there, Rashi says, until that day that God will finish repaying Esau for respecting his dad. Wow. I read that, I was shocked. It's my first time reading it too, but every time I read it, I get shocked. Just to think, he's still repaying Esau for respecting. It wasn't even for real. It was for fake. Give him kaf chova. He doesn't need kaf zechut. This guy, he did enough. Pogroms, Holocaust, killings. What? This guy needs more kaf zechut.
Butcher.
That's why I don't understand. Some big Mekubalim, they give Esav so much kav zechut. I'm shocked to my core. This is the butcher of butchers.
Sure,
He makes the, I don't want to say his name, Yamach Shamo, look like, I don't know.
Sick.
Exactly. Don't give him kav zechut. My point is, how do we get into all of this? That every single day, every single year, there is a day that the Chorban Beit HaMikdash is decided. There is a day that the Chorban Beit HaMikdash is decided whether it will be or not. Why? Because in Tikkun Hatzot, that's how we got into this, it says, every generation that the temple is not built, it's as if it was destroyed. That should shock us to our core. That means we have the ability, don't think we don't, we do have the ability to rebuild it. And it's so sad, especially when you're looking to buy a house. Right? How crazy does one person get? He's looking into the realtors, into this. You really want a house. And stop for a second and Tikkun Chatzot and think. God hasn't had a house in 2,000 years. He hasn't had a house. He's in Galut for 2,000 years. And not Ke'ilu. Mamash. And that should shock us. That should shock. That's why every house has to have Zecher LeChorban Beis HaMikdash. By the way, I told you guys this halacha. You have to have a small place next to your door without paint. It has to be over there. Unfinished Zecher LeChorban Beit HaMikdash. You walk inside my apartment. It's my apartment. You walk inside. There's a whole side by the wall, right? Right when you walk in, like a surah. Poof. Right in your face. Zecher LeChorban Beit HaMikdash. And the Kaf HaChaim says, not that you should do it because of that, but the Kaf HaChaim says, if you do that, it's a sigula for Shalom Bait in your house. The problem is, once you didn't do it for so many years, it might be a sigula for not having Shalom Bait if you tell your wife to do it. That's a different thing, alright? But still, maybe if you open up the sefer and show it to her, maybe she'll do it. What's the problem? For the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But anyways, we're digressing again. So the Chatam Sofer writes, when is the day that the Chorban Beit HaMikdash is decided? When do you think? When did the Chorban happen?
Ninth of Av.
The 9th of Av. So when should it be decided? The 9th of Av. That's not true. Why? Because if the 9th of Av falls on Shabbat, we push it off. And the Gemara says that one of the Tanaim said, if I was there, I would cancel it totally.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because it's a Chorban, it's a destruction that already happened in the past. So when is the Chorban being renewed for the future? On the 10th of Tevet. That's why the Gemara says that the 10th of Tevet falls on Shabbat.
You don't push it off.
You don't push it off, you still fast.
On Friday, you're saying?
Shabbat.
No, the Tanaim, they made the calendar that it'll never fall on Shabbat. Because if it would fall on Shabbat, you have to fast. Because it's not a Chorban that happened. It's a Chorban that's recurring. Because the fact that it didn't happen means what?
So important.
That it will happen, that it means that it happened again. It means that it happened again. So therefore, how much more so today on the 10th of Tevet? And you know the funny thing is, guys? It's the shortest fast of the year.
Most belittled.
And it's not, and most belittled, the shortest, and it's the fast that's the easiest. You open your eyes and close it, it's like it didn't happen. Why? The point is not to suffer. The point is to change our ways. Now Shavavim is coming, guys. I'm going to teach you a kavanah tonight. Now Shavavim is coming. This year Shavavim is Shavavim Tat. You know what Shavavim Tat is? The long Shavavim. By the way, Rav Ben Sion, I think I read this to you last week. Rav Ben Sion Musafi writes, this Shavavim of the leap year is the real Shavavim. That's the real Shavavim.
Because it's Shemitah.
Huh? Yeah, and Shemitah this year. So I want to tell you guys a secret. But you have to believe me when I say this to you, because I'm not saying this to you, Chas Shalom. You know, there is a big Rav. His name was Rav Ovadia Hadayev. What happened was, there was a big tzaddik in Yerushalayim called the Sadeh. Hello, Abraham. The Sadeh HaKadosh, Rabbi Shaul Chaim Duek HaKohen. Big tzaddik he was. He was blind for 40 years. Whatever happened was, he was getting bad in his eyes, so they told him in Egypt there is doctors that could help you out. He was in Israel. Those Egyptian doctors, Yamach Shemam, saw a Jewish rabbi on the table, so they decided not to heal him. They decided to there was no insurance. to mess up the operation, and he was blind for 40 years after this. And he was the Rosh HaMekavnim and Rosh HaMekubalim. Rosh HaMekavnim and Rosh HaMekubalim of Yerushalayim. So the Sadeh HaGadosh, he had a yeshiva in Yerushalayim. All the big Mekubalim used to pray there with Kavalat HaRashash. When I say Mekubal, I use it very loosely. There's many kinds of Mekubal. There's Ramchal, there is, I don't know, there's Ari, there is Baal Shem Tov. Also Baal Shem Tov is a stream of Kabbalah, right? There is Chabad, there's different ways. You can't just say there's just the Rashash. It doesn't work like it. There's many streams, but in his yeshiva was the main one. When the Jordanians sent their missiles, they blew up his yeshiva. One of the things that hit was his yeshiva. Rav Ovadia Hadaye was a young boy. He had a dream that the Rashash was telling him to open up a yeshiva. He opened up the yeshiva, and he reopened it in Rehov Rashi till today it stands. Yeshivat Bet El. He has a book called Yaskil Avdi. In this book he writes, whoever is single cannot learn Kabbalah.
Oh man.
Why? If you open up the Ariyah Kadosh, every other word over there is zivugim. Now your mind makes connections subconsciously. You're reading about zivugim, but you're single, and what are you going to have thoughts in your head? Zivugim. So if you're not, so there was a kid that was blind, that never saw in his life. He said to her, I'm blind. Can I learn it anyway? He said, no.
Wow.
You can. You have to get married.
Even him.
Okay, even him. Because you're not, the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, Arur ha'ish sheyaseh pesel masecha v'sam basater. In the beginning of the Idra Rabbah, three main parts of the Zohar are the most important. All the Kabbalah stands on them. One is the Idra Rabbah. Idra Zuta was the third one. For a candy. For a ticket.
Oh, the last one.
What's it called? Chazon Avadia? No, it's Rabbi Yosef. No. Avram, talk to me. Huh? We just said Idra Rabbah. Idra Zuta was the third one. You're not going to get it. But if you do get it, it's Fatay Nishak.
A great assembly.
The Great Assembly.
It's like the great, what you call it?
It's an iron.
What's the last one that we had?
You lost your merits. You lost your going back to 9th grade. Wow. Get out of here, getting back to 9th grade.
What's the last
It's called, you guys are not going to get it. It's called Sifra D'Tzniuta. Sifra
That
D'Tzniuta.
one you got me.
I got you on that one, right? I got you? It was a good one. There's three main books. In the beginning of Idra Rabbah, that's the Great Assembly. In the beginning of Idra Rabbah, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai gets all the students together. He had 10 of them. And they started to shake. Yeah, he's right. They started to shake. And he said to them, guys, I'm starting to teach you guys great things right now. Whoever imagines what I'm saying, you are cursed. And all of you should say Amen. Wow. So that means when you learn these things, if you start imagining a leg, a hand, an eye, the Torah speaks like that way. And God, his Kiviyachol, his nostrils filled with anger. Right? V'yicharaf Hashem, or Enei Hashem, the eyes of Hashem are looking on the land. It's all euphemisms, it's all allegories for greater spiritual things. If there isn't any face or hand, there isn't even letters over there. All these things are what? A mashal. It's all a mashal. The true Mikubal gets the nimshal, right? Especially Shir Hashem is Kodesh. So therefore, when a person learns these things, you have to be very, very careful not to make any images in a sense, right? So Rav Hadaye had this student, and he said, if you're single, you can't learn these. So why am I saying this? Shavavim is coming. Listen very carefully. I'm saying you something now. This is real something. When I started to learn, I'll be honest with you, I was single, right? So I called up my rabbi, and he said to me like this. He said, this Avera that we fast for Shavavim, if you're not sure 100% that you're never going to do it again, and you work on your Urim, your things, you could already start learning some parts. Why am I telling you this? If you go to Shavavim and you think, I'm going to fast, even if you fast all 40 days plus another 2 weeks, how many days is it going to be?
6 weeks.
8 weeks. 64 days. Even if you're going to fast 64 days, but you're still gonna do the Avera, what did you gain? What did you gain? It's like you have a pipe. You're putting the, what do you call that thing that cleans the pipe? Drainage. The drainage, right? And then right after that, you yourself take your hand and stick it again. You have to get to the point in your life where you say, I leave this avera. This avera is not for me. How do you do it? When the avera comes to you, you have to understand it's only because your mind is empty. Right? It's empty. If it's empty, then the gladiator comes inside the arena. You understand? Then the gladiator comes in. But if it's filled with Torah v'yirah all the time, constantly, that's why it's good to go to work. You shouldn't say in your life, I want to already retire. Because if you're retired, you get bored. If you get bored,
you get in trouble.
You get in trouble. A person must be busy. That's why all of us here are not sitting in the base medrash, and I speak for myself, same thing. Because if Hashem knew that I would use all my time the correct way, I would be in the base medrash. I know, I believe 100%. And those guys who do sit in the base medrash, kol hakavod lahem. Those are the true fighters and gladiators and the true strong ones. I need to work. You need to work. Because our mind, when it's empty, the chimichangas walks in. You understand? But, this is the only thing. Boredom leads to averot. Boredom leads to averot. And, so therefore Shavavim comes. Hey, you have to fast to open up the drain. But how do you keep the drain from being clogged again? You have to learn Sifrei Musar. You have to learn Mesilat Yesharim, Nefesh HaChaim, Orchot Tzadikim, Sharei Kedusha. Learning it once, that's not enough. You have to learn Sifrei Musar to keep the clogs, to keep the drain strong. If Chas Shalom mice or roaches comes inside your house, why are they coming inside your house? What do you have in your house?
Hole.
You have a hole. Even if you put rat poison, get an exterminator, but you don't close the holes, they're still going to come in. You're going to give $1,000 to tzedakah, they're still going to come in. You get the best exterminator, they're still going to come in. You got to close the holes. You have to leave the avera. I know we said we're going to talk about the blessings of Yaakov, but as the true Lashem way goes, we talked about something else. And the reason is because the Torah is like Nahar Perat. Nahar Perat. It's Pareh Veraveh. The Torah, you cannot take the Torah and put it in a vessel. It just overflows. It's more thing leads to another. But I'm not gonna leave you guys here without a kavanah, which was the whole point of the real shiur, not the real shiur. It says in the blessings of Yaakov, and this is the kavanah I want you guys to work on during Shovavim. It's very simple. Every time you say the word Baruch, how many times you say the word Baruch a day?
100 times?
Ideally.
Ideally, yeah.
Ideally. You're supposed to say the word Baruch 100 times, and I'm going to tell you a secret now. I learned this with you guys many times. The Leshem Shvo V'Achlama says, whoever misses 100 brachot a day, he is closing the pipes to his neshama's brachot. Wow. Openly, I'm going to make a copy and send it to you guys on the chat where he says this. Saying 100 brachot, there are some poskim that say you actually have to count them as you say it.
Wow.
You have to actually, like a strata omer, you have to count them. And then during the week, it's very easy. Brachot HaShachar is 20, 3 times davening, the Shmonai, 19. You have tefillin, talit, Baruch She'amar, blessings. All you have left a day is to make 12. Trust me, the way our stomachs look, we make more than 12. Alright? We have 10 times. Shabbat is an issue. Shabbat I count. And I always, I try to be chazan. And get maftir. And get maftir. But chazan is very important. Get another 7 barachot.
You answer to this.
That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. But you could also, every time you come home, have besamim ready. Have a nice smelling fruit ready. Have a lemon, let's say.
Etrog?
Lemon or an etrog. My etrog I just dried it out. But I didn't eat my etrog this year for this reason. Every Shabbat I would take my etrog and say, Hanoten reach tov.
It's lasted you
whoever came to my, I don't know, huh?
It lasted you till now?
And last me, this Shabbat was the end. His neshama came out. We said, Baruch Dayana Emet on it. So that was etrog. You have over there hadassim. I bought a lot of hadassim on Sukkot. So that's asei besamim. Nana, or nice smelling tea. You could say borei isbei besamim. Then I have mixed besamim. I say on that borei minev. It's already Instant 4 brachot every time. Shacharit, Mincha, and Aravit. And in the shul I say that's already another 25 brachot. You understand? And then I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning and then I do the Besamim again. So that way, on Shabbat, I almost never miss 100 brachot. Yom Kippur is the biggest problem. Because over there, you know what I'm saying? It's a big... But still, during the week, I'm saying, 100 brachot. Now, what's the kavanah in the bracha? It's in this week's parasha. Where is he?
Blessings?
In which blessing? Which brother's blessing?
Yosef?
Yosef. Where? Okay, listen very carefully, guys. Ben, Porat, Yosef. Alright? What's the word here that doesn't make sense? Porat. What does Porat mean? Who here could tell me where else in the Torah do we see the word Porat? Anyone take a guess? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with blessings.
Is it Yaakov and Yitzchak?
Yaakov and
His father?
Okay, I'll give you a bigger hint. It's not in the book of Bereshit.
Huh?
What? Which one?
Is it Moses?
Chukotai? I would say you're warm, but lukewarm. Bil'am is the right answer. Where does Bil'am live? On the river called? Not Porah, but Petorah. Petorah. Asher al Hanahar. Now, what's other interesting? What is Yosef? He interprets dreams. How do you say interpret in Hebrew? Poter. Poter. It's the same word. Almost. But you just change the taf and the vav. So Yosef is Poter Chalamot. He's been Porat. Yosef. What is this word Porat? And where else do you see this word? I mentioned it in my shiur just now. What are the 4 rivers that come out of Gan Eden? Pishon, Gichon, Hidekel, and Prat. That's how do you say Prat?
That's what the gold is, no?
That's where everything is. That's where the Torah is actually. Perat. Alright? Just missing the vav. All these are the same thing. Porat, I'm gonna jump the gematrias. It's very late. I want to start our new book, Sha'arei Orah. Porat is 686. Plus the kolel is gonna be plus 1 equals.
What do you mean kolel?
Every time I have a word, I can add 1 always. The word itself.
87.
It's gonna be 687. Okay, 687. The name of God is Yud, K, Vav, K. I could write out God's name 4 ways. Actually, I could write it more than 50 ways. But there are 4 names of God that He created the world with. 4 names. And it all deals with Yud, K, Vav, K. How do I write them out? One is called, and whoever learned with me Otzrot Chaim should know this already by heart. One is called Shem Ab, which is 72. How? The Yud could be spelled out Yud, Vav, Dalet.
The Milui.
Yeah, the Milui. The K, the Hey, could be spelled out with a Yud. The Vav is Vav, Yud, Vav. And the last Hey, once again, is a Yud. And how much is that going to be? 72. That's the 72 name of God.
You're saying you actually spell out the letter?
Yeah, you spell it out. Okay? There's 4 ways that you spell it out that the whole Kabbalah is based on. Okay? These 4 names. The second way is the same exact name, just the Vav, I make an Aleph inside. Vav.
63.
It's going to be 63.
Instead of the Yud.
Instead of the Yud. The third way is the same exact name, just instead of Yuds, I have Alephs.
Ma.
Yud. Ke. Vav.
Interesting.
Ke. That's going to be 45. That's how man was made. Why? What's the gematria of man? Aleph is how much? 1. Dalet, 4. Mem, 40. 45. You're Adam, we're this name. We were made from this name. Okay? We're made from this name. Which name we're made from? This name. Okay? The last name is called Shem Ben. Ben. What's his name, Ben? God's name is 26. 26 times 2, Marat HaMachpelah. It's called a double cave. That's where Adam went in. Marat HaMachpelah is going to be 26 times 2, 52. How do I spell that one out? Yud. It's the double cave. So I just take the Hey and make another Hey. I take the Vav, another Vav. The Hey, another Hey. It's going to be 52. 72, 63, 45, 52 is going to be 232. Every time you say the word Baruch, Baruch, how do you say Baruch? It's going to be, I'm doing the math for you already, 228. How many letters are there?
4.
4. It's going to be 232.
Okay.
The instant kavanah you're supposed to have, small kavanah, when you say Baruch, is these 4 names. Absag Maben. Baruch Absag Maben. How am I going to do that? Obviously practice. That's it. It's a meditation. It's a yichud. That's the kavanah. If you do this kavanah, when Yaakov is making the bracha to his sons, it's the kavanah he was having. When he was blessing Menashe and Ephraim, this is what he was having. When you do Mishe Berach by the Torah, the guy who's doing Mishe Berach, what do we like to hear? Mishe Berach beParnasa, beShefa, you sure? That's very nice. But what he's really supposed to be having in mind? Absag Ma'ben.
What does the 687 come then?
Oh, where's the 687? How much are we missing? 455.
Okay.
What's the second name of God that he told Moshe Rabbeinu, that he revealed to Moshe? Which name did he reveal to Moshe? Seriously, guys? Ekyeh. Ekyeh, Asher, Ekyeh. Let's take Ekyeh now. I have to erase the board. Give me a napkin real quick.
I beat you to it.
I want to both of them get a mitzvah. That's why. So that's for now. Look at the strength of Yosef. Look how Yosef includes everything in him. Ben Porat, Yosef. The name of God, the second name is Ekyeh. Let's spell it out. Aleph. Aleph. Same thing. K. Yud. K. How much is it gonna be? 111 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15. I'll do the math for you already. This name is going to be 161.
K is the hey.
Yeah. I said now let it erase. It's a K. 161.
Okay.
You're never going to learn this in your life.
Yeah, right.
So take the information while you have it. Second name, take the same exact name and just fill the hays with olives. That's all I changed. You just change the yud.
Like an A.
Yeah. Hey. Instead of hey,
Just
hey.
subtract A.
Yeah. Just subtract 9 from each. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to get the name 143. Kamag. 143. Now take the next name. This is going to be the secret of the mikveh. The mikveh comes from the last name. It's called Shem Kana. Same name, just instead of the aleph, now I'm put in Hays. So I have Aleph, Hey, Yod, Hey. It's going to be how much? 151. Gematria mikveh, Gematria Kaas. The secret of fixing Kaas is going to the mikveh, which is Kaas. Anger. Okay? So this is Shem Kana. So when you go to the mikveh, this is the name you're supposed to have in mind. First name. Now take all 3 names, you're going to get 455.
I think this is a Word document.
455. 455 plus what is the Yud K Vav K's? 232 equals Porat. 687 Ben Porat Yosef. Laila Tov.
Cliffhanger.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. That's the secret of Ben Porat Yosef.